we'll get something done where everyone is going to be very satisfied. I believe that.
On the national level and national level?
I think we'll get it done on some level. It could be on different levels, but we're going to get it done. I know the issue very well. I think I know the issue better than most, and we will get that taken care of.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
If re-elected in 2024, former President Donald Trump intends to implement a comprehensive expansion of his initial administration's stringent immigration policies. This includes the apprehension of undocumented immigrants residing in the United States and their subsequent placement in detention facilities until deportation procedures can be carried out.
But just remember, a country without borders is not a country at all.
But today, Donald Trump stood firm.
The United States will not be a migrant camp, and it will not be a refugee holding facility. It won't be. You look at what's happening in Europe, you look at what's happening in other places, we can't allow that to happen to the United States, not on my watch.
Trump's Homeland Security Secretary today said the children are being well treated. There is no plan to ease up.
We will enforce every law we have on the books to defend the sovereignty and security of the United States.
Meanwhile, Adrian, the crossings, the arrests, and the family separations continue.
The difference between these two things is that the Trump tax cut overwhelmingly, to a degree that's almost impossible to imagine or fathom, helped the wealthiest Americans while leaving pennies for low-income families. It is so hard to believe this that I hope people will pay attention to this, especially people who supported the Trump tax cuts and the idea that somehow it was a middle-class tax cut. As I mentioned earlier, when we were having the conversation with Dr. Rashidi, and I'll ask anybody who wants to refute these distribution tables, if they can refute these distribution tables, half of President Trump's tax cut went to the top 5% of Americans. Half. That's 7.5 million people out of a country of 330 million people, 7.5 million households to be precise, with an average income of almost $800,000. They got, because of the Trump tax cuts that some want to extend, they got a $150 billion tax cut from Donald Trump.
Trump and his allies are planning a major expansion of the powers of the executive branch. According to the New York Times, those plans include bringing independent agencies under direct presidential control. That would include the Federal Communications Commission and the Federal Trade Commission, and chiefly the Justice Department. He also would refuse to spend money Congress has appropriated for programs he does not like, and he would remove officials he does not like from intelligence agencies. With us now, Alyssa Farah-Griffin, CNN political commentator and former White House communications director for the Trump administration. Alyssa, let's say it's 2025, Trump is president once again. What do you think it will look like if he is able to increase his authority over every part of government, knowing what you know about him having worked for him?
Well, listen, Susan Glasner has a great analogy she uses in her book talking about the Trump time in office, where she compares him to a dinosaur in Jurassic Park learning to open the door, saying he could be more dangerous in a second term because he understands how the machines of government actually work. And I've warned about this. I can confirm everything that's in that New York Times piece because most of it was stuff that the former president wanted to do in his first term, but aides like myself and others talked him out of. And at the time, the argument was this is too unpopular with the public. public, you need to focus on your reelection. But one that stands out to me, and I've kind of been raising alarm bells about, is this effort to basically eliminate the civil service, or basically make it so it's so much easier to fire career subject matter experts. That is an effort to make the government purely partisan and staffed with loyalists who are going to carry out his agenda. And having been in the Trump White House during COVID, I can't even really express how dangerous that would be had we not had experts there. So this is incredibly important reporting people need to pay attention to.
Surely we can all agree our schools should not be the softest target. Our schools should be the single hardest target in our country. And that's why, as part of a comprehensive school safety plan, it's time to finally allow highly trained teachers to safely and discreetly concealed carry. Let them concealed carry.
They have done something that allows the next party. I mean, if I happen to be president and I see somebody who's doing well and beating me very badly, I say, go down and indict them. Mostly that would be, they would be out of business. They'd be out. They'd be out of the election.
Let's get to our headlines here at 7:30. Former President Donald Trump says he would consider pardons for those who participated in the January 6th Capitol riots. Speaking at a rally in Texas over the weekend, Trump says if he's reelected, his administration, quote, will treat those people from January 6th fairly, even if that includes pardons. In the meantime, Trump admitted for the first time yesterday that he wanted former Vice President Mike Pence to, quote, overturn the 2020 election. Trump falsely claimed that recent efforts to reform the Electoral Count Act proves his claim that Pence had the power to throw out election results.
And another thing we'll do, and so many people have been asking me about it, if I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. We will treat them fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly.